Hi Sagittarius, this is going to be your archetype reading. I'm going to be pulling one card from the archetype deck, and I'm going to be elaborating further with the Rider-Waite Tarot. I'm going to be reading from the book for the definition for your archetype. I feel like the author deserves to be acknowledged in this way because he's really well written, yeah, it's just the way I like to do things. Okay, so the archetype that you're currently embodying, Sagittarius, is the ocean. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to be reading from the book, but I have got a channel message that has come through, and you're seeing things at different glance. You're now starting to see things from a different point of view, okay? And it could be the reflection of oneself that is now coming to the forefront. Things that you weren't aware of before, very much in yourself, that are being addressed by yourself, and by maybe others that are pointing things out that need to be addressed for your soul's growth. This is what I do my tarot card readings based upon, is soul growth. I'm not a relationship reader. However, if there's a relationship a channel message that comes through in my readings, I by all means relay it. Other than that, I do strictly like to, not strictly, I really like to focus on the soul growth. So yeah, anyway, moving forward, we have the ocean. Okay, this falls under the places. Okay, so the archetype that you're currently embodying is the ocean. Now, because it falls under the places, it could be something that you need to sort of like address in terms of your past, where things have made you feel whole again. They've taken you to a place of memory where things seem to add up in the right equation for your sake. Okay, so if you're going against the grain at the moment, the reflection of what is actually like going on in your environment will be clearly seen by the actions or the things that you're not meant to be addressing or putting your energy in. You will see the repercussions in the smallest or biggest of ways. So basically, it's a call to make sure that you are aligned with your highest good. And I feel like when it comes down to the ocean being the places, and that's the current archetype you're currently embodying, it's really got to do of a reflection of a past time where you've addressed certain aspects of yourself that needed to be looked at for your own growth point of view. Okay, so this could be an ego sense as well. Could be the subconscious mind versing the egocentric self, but it doesn't have to be. But we'll carry on with what the definition, or the description I should say, of this particular card entails. And it could also mean that you need to like grip your thoughts and rejuvenate by the likes of water, a water body, whether it be the ocean, the river, the lake, whatever. Your sanctuary, yeah. Okay, so let's carry on. The unconscious, the depths, the incomprehensible. The power of the ocean is unmatched. To step into its salty waters is to step into the unknown. By its sheer volume, the ocean represents the unconscious, all that is beyond our understanding. We cannot live within the ocean. We cannot claim it, manage it, or own it. It rejects our every attempt to dominate nature, yet amidst its overwhelming power, it calls to us, inspires us, and invigorates our life on land. It dissolves the little us into the big us. When the energy of the ocean is present, there is a change stirring that is beyond any change you've ever known. The ego must dissolve. The saline swells work on your very cells, your fibers, your deepest underlying beliefs. Like Aphrodite, we rise from the ocean's froth. We rise from the ocean's froth, a new being. Life is change. Let the waves crash. Okay, so when in positive aspect, when it's in its fullest, and you're embodying the right archetype per se in this particular energy, is deeper than deep, big dreams and discovery. When it is ill aspected, and obviously when you're like shying away or you're going against the grain in terms of like this energy, subsumed, drowned, polluted and unpredictable. When going deeper into aspects of this particular energy, Shakespeare, the Tempest, the Ruff of Medusa. So there's some famous folk from the past that you may want to look into if you want to get more of an idea of like what this card means to you as to what it meant to those of the past, the big names. Okay. The ocean displays every emotion without shame. To witness its glassy moonlit surface and its unforgiving storms is to know the full spectrum of the human experience. And lastly, study waves, touch their surface, get into the water. No matter where you live, each drop is a part of the whole. The ocean is in every tear. Okay, so this is, I feel like, a very important phase of your life where you're starting to understand the shadow self not only, but there's also aspects that you are dying to change but you hadn't been confronted with them yet. Okay, let's go into some tarot and see what's going on for Sagittarius, the ocean. Universal energy, please protect myself and the viewer in this reading. Show me what the ocean represents for the energy that Sagittarius is currently embodying as the archetype. Okay, the magician. Okay, so the manifestation, right? So if we're not bringing to the surface those things that were hindering, those things that were bothersome about oneself, we're going to manifest the likelihood of things that we don't necessarily need or are pretty much done with. So especially when it comes to lack of emotion, for example, if you find yourself wanting to be more emotionally connected to oneself or others, then now is the time to reflect upon how certain things will make you feel and why. Essentially, we all have a heart. We all strive for the same sort of things in life, especially to do with having a loving husband or wife or beautiful house, this, that, the other, whatever it is. It all connects down to one thing: the heart, what the heart wants. Okay, so if you've not addressed certain aspects of yourself and you've been pouring a lot of your energies into your work or certain areas of your life, and you have not addressed certain aspects of the past where emotional energies are concerned, then now is the time, because you will manifest things that will potentially be at risk when it comes to your spiritual growth, not only, but making sure that our chakra centers per se are looked after as well, mainly because if we don't look after those little aspects, we can manifest disease. Okay, so like if you're not dealing with your past wounds or haven't yet, now is the time to bring them to the surface. Confront those grievances, those annoyances, those issues that you hadn't addressed in the past, and understand why you felt the need to bury them. Okay, because now is the time for that clarity to come to the forefront. Let's go a little bit deeper. Show me what I need to see for Sagittarius and the ocean, and that being their current archetype. Okay, there you go. Right, the Heartbreak card. So yeah, I feel like if you haven't dealt with past breakups, past issues in matters of the heart, now is definitely the time to address those things that have not played a role other than in the back of your mind, or that you've put them to rest, but not to rest per se. If you're wanting to call in, for example, somebody that to share a life with you and not address the certain aspects that need to be very much addressed, but they're very much a part of a dynamic relationship where like both yourself and your partner can confide in each other in an emotional and physical and mental way, then you'll lack that aspect where it will become an issue for not only yourself but the hindrances of something that could go wrong in a relationship. So if you are wanting somebody to share your life with, then now would be the time to actually address the things that you haven't done prior to. And I feel like this is very much to do with allowing yourself to be angry at what's happened in the past, allowing yourself to take the deep breaths, understand what has happened, acknowledge, cry if you need to, whatever the case, but then understand forgiveness, and then understand it's now time to let go of the attachment to how that person or situation has made you feel, and move forward into new ventures or relationships or whatever the case. Let's go further for Sagittarius, please. Okay, yeah, it could have been a lot of betrayal in your past where it has affected your trust for any kind of intimate or any kind of relationship where you are at a vulnerable state. So this is where it is time to take the risk in knowing that you will be supported if you just let go of thoughts that no longer align with you as a soul and its purpose. Okay, so if you are forever walking around and not involving yourself in any other way other than a almost robotic manner to most people because of the fear of like the past situation, now's the time to address that and be strong. Understand that people do lie, people do the things that they do for every reason possible, that sometimes is really nothing that you can control other than your own actions. Okay, with the Magician and the Seven of Swords, it seems to me like you had somebody that played you hard. Okay, or it could be this could be an aspect of yourself that you need to address, and it could be to stop being the clown. Stop being the person that is going around and just avoiding being honest with the next person because of fear of a heartbreak or retaliation or reflection or how you're going to appear to others. So take what resonates there, Sagittarius. Okay, yeah, so you could be very alright, so what I'm seeing here is you or somebody in your environment may not have been completely honest with the way that they were being affected by what was going on. Okay, we have the King of Pentacles underneath as well, the secure, stable, mature presence. Okay, so this could be an aspect of yourself and then an aspect that you were embodying as some sort of facade, so the two-sided scenario where the reflection is coming out, which was maybe in your immediate environment people were seeing but you couldn't see yourself. Alright, so you may have gotten away with certain things that you should have been honest about by keeping this front on, keeping this emotionally mature approach to everybody necessary, but realistically it was not doing you any favors because I feel like you were ripping your own heart out and not addressing how things were actually making you feel. You wanted to appear maybe as the stable and very controlled one in your domain, in the presence of others, but I feel like this facade is only ruining the person that you truly deeply are, and it's not getting you anywhere other than backwards in that sense. So these things need to be addressed. So if this is not an aspect of yourself, or it's an aspect of somebody in your environment, just kindly note in subtle ways that it is important to be yourself, and no matter how hard the truth may be to front, it is always best off if you front it with absolute courage and determination to know that everything will work out in the long run. if you're being honest with yourself. You don't have to necessarily be, well, it is nice, but if you're honest with yourself, I mean, you attract that same sort of energy anyway. So let's go, why is the Magician here? Let's go further. Why is the Magician here? The Sagittarius. Okay, the Queen of Pentacles, right? Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Okay, so you were, I feel like, trying to call in an aspect of this particular energy, but it's showing. I feel like you're showing complete opposite. And this person is like not even interested in that. This person is grounded, is mature, is looking at the value that they've created for themselves because they know who they are. Okay. They also know how to give just as much time to themselves as they do to others. Let's have a look at the Three of Swords. Why is the Three of Swords here? It could also have been a Queen of Pentacles. It could have been this particular person in the past that had ripped your heart out, that you haven't necessarily brought to the surface, acknowledged, and forgiven the situation and moved forward from. Now we've got the Knight of Cups, clarifying the Three of Swords. This could be where you need to take the stand, let the ego down, and take that apology, or make that apology if this is resonating with you on that level. Or you may be waiting also for an apology based upon an individual from your past who had potentially broken your heart or had deceived you in some sort of way. And this also could turn to the King of Cups being once, you know, the person you could have been was very structured and tackled their emotions quite well. Could be the life of the party, whatnot, but I feel like it changed in some way. It changed you completely, and now it's like a running of who am I? You know, why am I feeling like this? Well, that's because you haven't dealt with these things yet. You haven't acknowledged what you need to in terms of allowing the heart to heal. So you may have just suppressed it and just thought that it will go away, but essentially it's manifested and it's doing you no good. Okay, so there needs to be an acceptance of whether it be you forgiving the situation or you being the one that needs to take the step up and acknowledging your faults in some sort of scenario where it's left you blocking and shoving all those horrible, nasty, heartbreak feeling kind of stuff down below, if that makes sense. Alright, the Seven of Swords, clarify. Yeah, okay, so this is where it left you before and it really, really tore you apart, or it could have been you that has given that energy to somebody in the past, but I feel like this is you, and I feel like this has been a long time where you've just shut it off and just moved along and not acknowledged what you needed to, essentially causing a whole different person. One more for, yeah, burdening you with like hiding away from one's truth, not knowing how to face the world and be the person that you are at a soul level. That facade comes on because of protection of the heart, and that inner child underneath being the overall energy. I feel like, especially if there are kids involved, in terms of you being a role model or figure in a child's life, then they, I'm sure, want to see their father or mother grow up knowing who she or he is. That's especially important for me to say right now, because especially if this has changed you that dramatically, it won't work in your favour when you're not fronting the issues. You're giving the example that it's okay to suppress the emotions, and kids these days are very susceptible to energies. Not only that, they will take on that kind of role, essentially causing problems later on. So just a reminder, like, it doesn't have to be kids related, but just a reminder that if there is kids involved, be the role model that can express their emotions and deal with them in a constructive way, because kids do obviously watch every little move their immediate caretaker may give, and when it comes to feeling, kids, they don't need to not feel. if that makes sense. Obviously, when it comes to conflict and stuff like that, you don't want your kids to be involved in conflict, but also remember, set the example to be honest as well. That's just another little side note. Alright, yeah, that's about it. I think that's all I've got for you guys today, Sagittarius. It was interesting read, but I have just been told that will do, and yeah, please like, share and subscribe, and talk soon.